Hey guys, I just wanted to do a quick update on SAVA as well as my option strategy for SAVA. We're going to really cover using covered calls as a put, and that's the way I've traded my trade here on SAVA recently. I kind of expected that going into the trade, but let's kind of dive more into it. Also, this channel and what I talk about here is not financial advice. You can trade any way you like. This is just how I trade the stock. Let's get started. Okay, so I'm trading ticker symbol SAVA. I wanted to go over some of the numbers. So I originally bought 500 shares at, it was like $58 or something. I think I averaged down to like $57 or something is my share price. So we'll put that in big numbers. So I had an initial investment of 28,091 for those 500 shares. I'm down because obviously the share price is not at $58. I'm down $6,856 is my paper loss in my account. Okay. Yeah. So that's the paper loss because the shares track perfectly with the stock movement. What I have been doing is, since I've been writing covered calls, I initially had a 5-point lead, and I did 1 week. The stock had some movement that gave me a hint that it was going to descend below $48, $47. It had hit that twice, but it had been rejected at like the $52, $53. And I kind of felt like it was just kind of a bump up, and then it was just going to teeter off again. For whatever reason, the stock is still falling, and it's fine with me. I'll just give you the math here, what I've done so far. I have made $5,979 on covered calls. My account looks virtually the same as when I started when I opened the position. I started like 28, and I've taken some money out, and now I'm down to like 25,050 or something. It hasn't moved much. It has not moved that, because I have like 5,600 in cash in there just from covered calls. And that's all on SAVA. So now we're going to talk. So that's the numbers. It's pretty much made my account the same, and I have not sold my shares. They are tied to covered calls. I couldn't sell them if I wanted to. I have to buy the calls back. But the point being is that because I've been rolling the calls down with the share price and getting a credit, what I ended up doing was rolling out 3 weeks, and then as the stock price declines, I just rolled down in share price for that same week. I went farther out in time to get a big wad of premium working for me, so as I step down, and as the stock steps down, I'm also getting credits, and they're tracking pretty well with the decline in share price in my account. So let's get on the graph, and then I'll show you kind of what my thought process was on that. So ticker symbol SAVA again. You know, it had this huge run up to like 140, maybe it went up to 150 or whatever, and then it just, you know, maybe this is like $30 and this is 40, something like that. I don't remember. I think it stopped in here in like the 60, 50, 40, and then here's 30 again. But it's been in this kind of zone, you know, just kind of teetering around in here. And I bought, of course, at $50, $58. You know, I think I have a 57 share price average. You know, now that the stock's at like $43 or something. So it's just, let me straighten this up a little bit. So yeah, it kind of came in here and get rid of that, that's not right. We'll say this is like 60, 58, and then 45. You know, yeah, we'll say this is $43 right here. So we're right here at this $42 share price. 30's down here somewhere else. I am fully planning on it to go to 30. There's, you know, it's just another area where it could go to. Doesn't mean it'll go there, but mentally, I bought into this stock, playing on it that it will go back up into here and you know, go to the moon eventually. But I'm still going to make my premium off of it while it's making these stair steps down. Okay. So I initially sold. I started out when I bought here. This is probably 3 weeks ago. Yeah, we'll say this is like August, you know, 20th. And here we are, September 14th or something, you know, I don't know what the date is. So we've gone in time a little bit. You know, we've gone from August to September. We've been, I think I'm 3 weeks into this trade. So I originally started with a $70 covered call because I thought the stock might bounce back up to 70. And then, but I bought it, you know, 58. And then I went down to, as the stock went down, I went to a 65, a 60, a 55, a 50, and I've just been staring it down. But I also went out from September and I went out to October 1st, and that gave me that nice buffer. All I did is, as the stock went down in price, I rolled down and out. I didn't roll out way out. The other reason I'm going down and out is the option premiums are still really good. I am planning on the stock maybe stalling a little bit at some point in time here, you know, the last bit of September. I'm just mentally preparing for that with the trade. So I want to keep selling these inflated option premiums, because once the stock barcodes, if it does, the option premiums are gonna die. And then I'm gonna be in a trade that I'm not getting out the money that I was supposed to. I've done pretty good so far. You know, 3 weeks for, you know, 59, 79. And I started with around 28K. You know, I'll take that. You know, that's not a bad return on investment. I just need to keep doing this. So, you know, I also think that, you know, we'll get into a demand zone at some point. The stock will look cheap again. It'll appear cheap or at a better price point. And maybe we'll get some price action somewhere down in this area of $30 to $40. I wouldn't be surprised if you know, get a bounce or something, then a little more movement. I just need the movement. I need the rapid movements to inflate the call premiums. I really don't care what it does. The only thing I'm afraid of is that the stock goes down to zero and just stays down there. That's a huge problem. Either way, let's restart the board quickly. So my goal out of this trade is to stay in the stock as long as possible. For one, stay in as long as possible while getting my return on investment, which is making all of the money that I put in back. 3, without selling the shares in as little time as possible. So that's 4 points. Let's go ahead and put that up on the board. Okay, so we want to stay in the trade as long as possible without selling the shares and making our entire investment back as soon as possible. And if the stock, this is a neutral play. Okay, this is if the stock just stays flat or even goes down. Okay, if it's bullish, then your profits get geometric because you're selling out of the money calls. So I'm also selling. I have my increase in share price plus the calls that I'm selling. So bullish is because you get increase in share price plus premium. So to me, I mean, I will not trade any other style of trade because the mechanics of this is so easy to deal with. I can deal with it going down, I can deal with it going up. There's lots of other ways to trade. I'm familiar with some of them. There's lots of them I have no idea about. I just haven't tried them. But to me, being able to utilize the covered call strategy, it just allows me to be extremely flexible. And we'll just write that down. And I can adapt to pretty much any movement in the stock as long as it's reasonably consistent. I have to watch out for stuff like this that can break out of a zone, and if it's a complete whipsaw, 40 points all the time moving around, that's hard to adjust for. That's why stocks like Tesla, the option premiums are just silly, because the market makers are always, I'm a market maker in this instance. I would be losing shares or rolling or doing all kinds of stuff all the time because the stock's just madness. 40, 80 points in a day, or 20 points one day, 1 point the next day, and 40 the next. And so write options on stuff like that, unless you write near the day of expiration, is kind of hard. But premium's good. So you got to be willing to, if you're gonna make the money, you gotta be willing to play. Either way, I hope this was not, confusing. If you guys have any questions about the strategy or anything at all, just leave it in the comments, and I'll try to answer as best I can or do some research. As always, guys, see you next time. Thanks.